Dear family, today is a treat. I'm here at the Santa Maria Hotel. Sarum Hotel with Captain of the Ethiopian Airlines, Ronald Hodge of Harlem, Dominica, or Newtown. Brother Hodge, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Gabriel.
And Hodge, you're an old SMA guy.
Indeed.
Tell me about your time at Ethiopian Airlines and what you fly, what planes you fly.
Currently, I'm employed with Ethiopian Airlines as a 767, 757 captain, and pretty much there's a wide-body heavy aircraft. One of the several models that Ethiopian Airlines operates these days, among the more modern 787 Dreamliner and Airbus A350.
Amazing. I mean, this is a very modern aircraft, you know, and to have a brother from our beloved nature island, you know, be here in Addis Ababa, flying these aircraft. That's such a high honor. Tell me quickly about your background in Dominica. Where were you born and when were you born?
Okay, I was born in, of course, Princess Margaret Hospital, also Goodwill, in 1965,
yes.
14th of June.
Yes.
My mom was a nurse pretty much for her lifetime.
What was her name?
Agnes Hodge. Most people obviously know her as Sister Hodge.
That's right. She actually worked with my mom, I think.
Yes, they worked together.
Yes,
together indeed.
Yes.
And
just for the record, my mom's Alberta Christian, who, you know, later ended up with the workshop for the blind, but was in nursing before that.
Yes.
And your father?
Joseph Hodge, who most people would know as a bus driver, very popular bus driver in Dominica, around Roseau. And so these are my parents.
Siblings?
Yes, I have one brother, a younger brother, with whom I share the same parents. The other brothers.
What's his name?
Clarence. He lives in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
I have other brothers and sisters, which are from my father's side.
Yes.
There are quite a few in number.
Yes.
I don't know too many of them, but I've been privileged to meet a few.
Yes.
Pretty much, we've had a pretty good living lifestyle, and we're blessed with a good home.
Yes.
And eventually, when sort of...
Let's talk about education. I mean, you were born in town. Where did you go to school before?
St. Mary's Academy.
But before that, where did you attend? Secondary, primary?
Actually, initially, you must have heard of Teacher Rose's school.
Of course.
Right there.
Teacher Rose is the Girl Guides.
Yes, Teacher Rose.
Was that by around Franz? Or Fields Lane?
It's Fields Lane.
Fields Lane, yeah. Those were the notable preschools.
Oh, yes. Teacher Rose, where I started. And we went to mixed school for a bit.
Rosa Mixed Infant School, which I attended. Then, was Floss Christian there at the time?
Whom?
Floss. My Aunt Floss taught there.
I don't quite remember.
Okay.
Then we went to the next one was the.
Did you go to Rosa Boys School?
Rosa Boys School.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then
you took the common entrance then.
Correct. And I went to Goodwill
Junior High School. Okay.
Yeah. Then to the academy.
So you took the common entrance at Goodwill then, Goodwill Junior High School.
Junior High School as well.
And then you went to SMA.
Went to SMA.
And when you went to SMA, who was the principal there?
It was Brother E.M. Jermaine.
Yes, Egbert Jermaine. Yes. Any comment on how grammar school prepared you for success in life? I mean, not grammar school, SMA. Yeah.
Oh, it was ideal. In fact, in the academy, especially being Catholic and with that background where we had the influence of the Christian brothers, I felt pretty much at home there, where I was able to grow not only academically, but kept my spiritual life also in line.
That's right.
And you were able to marry the two in such a way that you feel that you're developing into a person that who can eventually contribute to society, which is the ultimate goal, right?
Indeed. So when you graduated from SMA in what year?
In 1981.
And what did you do after that?
For a short time, worked with the government and the Ministry of Communication Works as a junior clerk. Then I was transferred to the post office, General Post Office, where I worked. In fact, I remember that time on the counter there selling stamps and other services. I was the only male clerk there among a group of other female employees.
Yes.
And from there, I got transferred again to the Customs and Excise Department, where I spent almost 5 years.
Amazing. So when did the aviation bug bit you? Did you always, when did the aviation bug bite you rather? Did you always want to get into aviation aerospace?
The ambition was always there. However, I did not recognize it until during my course of work at Customs, when I was exposed to being at the airports, Canefield and Melville Airport,
right.
And it suddenly grew from there. I got to make friends with several pilots and other people.
Any Dominican pilots you remember from that time?
Derek Perriman, most notably. He was very influential in my decision and guiding me to...
Is that the same Perriman that owned Comfort Castle
Company? Yeah.
Did he pass?
He did pass.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sadly, yes. And also David Amor was sort of my neighbor in the Castle Comfort area and sort of like a big brother to me because younger brothers and I sort of...
David and I were in fifth form together, grammar school. Yeah. We're in communication actually.
Yeah.
Because we have a grammar school group for next year will be 50 years since we entered grammar school. In 72. So I've been in communication with him. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear from you.
Oh yes. Yeah, we were in contact.
Okay,
very. So these are two people who were very, very instrumental in my and fortunately I got to fly with David while he's in LIAT.
So you're at Customs and you make a decision to go to flight school.
Yes.
What year was that?
Okay, that was 1989.
And where did you go?
It's a place called Sowell Aviation in Panama City, Florida.
How do you spell Sowell?
Sowell.
I see.
Yeah, where the Panhandle in Florida.
And how long did you stay there?
It was just about 8 to 9 months.
Okay.
The interesting part about it is that's very interesting. When I started off, I had no idea how I was going to pursue it. I just knew I'd been bitten by the aviation bug, and that is what I was going to pursue. Fortunately, I had very supportive parents, especially my mom. So there's a sad note to it, and I really hope that has changed since then. I truly hope. I decided, okay, I'm going to do this thing. So I applied for leave to pursue that course of study, and it was denied from the government. Understand. So I had to resign. In fact, it was told to me in the response that if you want to pursue this career, you need to resign. So I immediately resigned.
Yes.
Without having an option of how I'm going to proceed.
Yes.
Then I said, this is what I'm going to do. I have no assets. I have no means of funding my studies. So I said I'm going to go from bank to bank. I'm going to start from the sea, and I'm going to go up to the river. So it means I started at Royal Bank, which is right down Bay Street.
On the waterfront, seafront.
Correct. And I went from bank to bank and pretty much said, look, this is me. This is who I am. I would like to pursue a course of study in aviation.
And did you know how much it was going to cost you by that time?
Yes, I'd done some research, and there were one or two pilots who had been to a similar school in that same school in Florida, and so I had an idea how much it was going to cost.
And how much was that going to be in EC dollars or US dollars?
In US dollars, it was about $18,000 for a guaranteed course. Guaranteed means a fixed number of hours, and you're expected to have qualified from stage to stage within that period of time.
And once you qualify, what did you qualify with? Commercial pilot's license or just private pilot's license?
No, in the end it was airline transport pilot's license, including multi-engine rating and instrument rating.
I see. So let's get back to the banks. You're talking to the banks.
Yes. And I went from bank to bank till I eventually found myself at 8 Bank, it's called those days, right? And I remember going into the manager there, and basically I told him I want to basically become a pilot. And he looked at me and he laughed.
Wow.
He laughed in my face. He said, "You what?" I said, "Yeah." See, he literally asked me, "Why don't you become a doctor or a lawyer or go into agriculture or something?" I said, "What do you mean? I want to become a pilot." He said, "Well, this is the list of areas which we fund for student loans, and we don't pilots. No. Sorry, we can't help you." And he laughed at me. Wow. He laughed at me. I remember his face very well. That didn't turn me away. I pretty much discussed it with my mom and said, "This is the situation."
And you don't care to tell us his name, do you? You can leave it confidential. You
yeah, I think he's retired from the banking business. He's no longer there, but I was very disappointed in him. I would have expected more support from him. Even he wanted to turn me down, tell me no, that wasn't the way to do it. Because someone who's less dedicated or was less dedicated than I was would certainly have been discouraged in a big way.
Yeah. And what is the value proposition that you take from that experience? Because it didn't hold you back. So a young person listening to this conversation that you're having with me this morning in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where you're a captain at maybe one of the most successful airlines in the world, and certainly the largest in Africa, will be inspired by the fact that you didn't give up.
I refused to give up. In fact, that was not even on my mind to give up.
So what carried you through? Was it faith or just a belief in yourself?
Faith, the support from my mom in particular, and just generally, I think the type of person I am, I've come to learn is that once my mind and my heart is set on something, I go after it and I don't give up.
So the bank turned you down, so what did you do?
Well, I discussed it with my mom, and basically she came with me to make another round. So at some point we ended up at Barclays Bank, and I met some people there that are actually far more helpful. I said, "Look, we have nothing in our books for aviation, for student loans, so we can't finance that course of study. What we can do for you is that we can give you a business loan. As you know, one of the main differences between a business loan and a student's loan is that you have no grace period. As soon as the loan is approved, payments are due.
Right away.
Right? As opposed to a student's loan. The rates of interest are higher and everything." So they agreed. And my mom decided she was going to offer her home as
collateral. Amazing. It's okay, bro. It's okay, bro. Yeah. It's okay, bro. Yeah. That's a powerful story. God bless her. Is she still with us, Hodge? Yeah. God bless her. God bless her. God bless the memory. What was mom's first name again?
Agnes.
Agnes Hodge. God bless her. Yeah. God bless her. She'll be proud of you, you know. She'll be proud of you. As I am proud of you. I mean, when it was Dave Johnson, who's a captain at Rwanda Airlines, who told me about you, I told David, David, you must be the only Dominican fly in Africa's skies. He said, "No, man, there's a captain at Ethiopian Airlines, Ronald Hodge." And I remember reaching out to you on LinkedIn, and I sent you a message, and within minutes you called me, and you said, "How are you doing, Gabu?" So, those are tears of joy, because your mother believed in you, and she gave up her prized asset. I suppose her house was a primary asset. And so you got the loan?
Yeah, so we got the loan. And as soon as the loan was done, I had no job at that point, so the payments was due immediately at the end of that month. She made the payments, and now I was off to this place where I was to pursue the career in a sophisticated field. I had no idea whether I was going to succeed or not, But I believed in my ability and what I wanted to do and what I could do. Yes. And I went full into it.
Yes.
So I got there. There were many challenges, weather, and I got sick a few times. However, I was able to actually complete my course in record time.
How many months?
I've done by 4.5 months.
Amazing.
Yes, because I
The regular course was how much?
Day at night. Pardon?
Regular would have been what, 8 months?
8 months, however, most people go over from the guaranteed course and go 11 and 12 months.
Amazing.
But 4.5 months it took me. I went actually with another partner of mine from Marigot. And pretty much I stayed on a few months just
That's not Captain Frankie Tong, is he?
Not Frankie Tong, it's Hanford Thomas.
Okay.
He's currently employed at the fire department in Marigot, Melbourne.
Yes, yes.
And basically at the end of the guaranteed course, the company actually had to refund me quite a bit of money because I had, qualified in far less than the allocated time. So they actually had to refund me quite a bit of money, which I used to assist my friend because he went over his time.
Yes.
So he needed the additional funds. So I had to use that to help fund him.
Captain Hodge, we plan on breakfast. Breakfast is getting cold, so I don't want to keep you. So let's just, this has been very fascinating. So you graduate, record time. What's the next step? You work with LIAT?
Well, I came back home, and in order to work with LIAT, which was my ultimate goal, I had to convert my licenses, and that involved a bit of more studying and writing of exams. So very stiff British exams. And
where were those exams taken?
In Antigua. That's where the OECS Aviation Directorate is located.
So the exams are under the auspices of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States
Correct.
Aviation Directorate.
Correct.
And when I say LIAT, that means Leeward Island Air Transport.
Correct.
Which is originally a line.
Correct.
Yes.
So in the meantime, Nature Island Express, if you remember, was operating at the time.
Yes.
And one of the pilots and owners involved in it was Erwin Ferrara.
Yes.
And Erwin pretty much reached out to me and offered me to come work with them for a bit, which I did immediately. He called me one day, and by the next day I was off flying.
So how long did you fly with Nature Island?
It's about 4 or 5 months, I believe, and shortly thereafter, I got called up by LIAT, invited to ground school, etc. And before that point, I was able to complete my course of study and write my exams and get qualified for my OECS license.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So how long did you work for LIAT?
17, just over 17 years.
Amazing. And then you moved on from LIAT to?
I moved, it was my first time to the African mainland, to Kenya.
Okay.
Where I joined a company called DAC Aviation, DAC Aviation Limited.
How did you get to go to Africa?
Again, there were colleagues, at least 2 colleagues, who left the Caribbean and went to Kenya a few years before.
You want to give us their names?
Yes. One was from Grenada. His name was Shane Harris. He was a first officer with me at LIAT. Another one was from Antigua, Charlesworth Hunte, Kenny Hunt. And they were pretty much instrumental in getting me to come to Kenya. They kept, and one day I decided, okay, maybe it's time for a change of...
So what did you fly in Kenya? What kind of aircraft?
Dash 8, Dash 8 aircraft.
Okay.
100, 200, 300, and 400 series. And I also later on flew the Bombardier CRJ.
Okay. So you're flying passengers between Kenya and...
Well, it's not just Kenya. The company pretty much specialized in humanitarian air transport. So we had contracts with many UN organizations, including the World Food Programme, Department of Peacekeeping Operations, European Union, which is the ECHO flight, Doctors Without Borders, and ICRC. So we had contracts and bases in several...
ICRC, International Committee for the Red Cross.
Correct.
Yes.
We had bases in North Sudan, South Sudan, Congo, Central African Republic.
So had you flown to all these places?
All these places, yeah. Mogadishu, Somalia. Where else we have? Quite a few places. In fact, eventually we also had contracts in Afghanistan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you flew, did you fly to Afghanistan?
Yes, we flew. We had contracts in Afghanistan for...
So when did you move from the Dash 8 series or the Bombardier series to the larger planes? Was that...
Well, when I came to Ethiopian Airlines, I was on the Dash 8. And
when did you come to Ethiopian Airlines?
In 2016.
After how many years at DAC Airlines?
DAC, I was DAC for just over 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And during my time there, I'd gone through the ranks of not only becoming a designated examiner for the Civil Aviation Authority in Kenya.
So you became a designated examiner
Yes.
for the Civil Aviation Authority in Kenya.
Yes. Kenya
My
Civil
word.
Aviation Authority.
My word.
I was certified CRM instructor, which is Crew Resource Management instructor, type rating instructor. I went up through the ranks to become manager of flight standards and training.
In Kenya?
Yes. Chief pilot,
Yes.
then director of operations, which is the head of the operations department in the company.
Yes.
And from there is where I joined Ethiopian Airlines as an instructor on the Dash 8.
Yes. So you were an instructor with Ethiopian Airlines on the Dash 8?
Yes, correct.
Amazing.
For 3 years. And after 3 years, then I was upgraded to the Boeing 767
Yes.
as a captain.
Yes. And when you say captain, that means you're the chief of the crew?
Yes, correct.
And you have a co-pilot?
Yes, we have a first
With a junior officer?
Yeah, well, I don't like the word co-pilot too much.
Okay.
Because it has a connotation of someone who's not really a pilot, but just here to assist the pilot.
So what is the term you prefer?
First officer.
First officer.
It's just a rank, so we have second officer, first officer, etc. But first officer was a pilot who is just as qualified as the captain.
Yes.
Maybe less experienced,
Yeah.
but he has all the qualifications required to operate.
And to operate the 767 and the other major aircraft by Boeing, did you have to go to school, in additional school?
Well, the training is conducted in-house, so we have in-house ground school training.
Is that at Bole Airport in Addis?
Correct. And the actual flight training is done in the simulator. All of that is done in-house with in-house instructors who are also certified by the Ethiopian Civil Aviation Authority.
And this is the same Ethiopian Airlines that was, in a way, started by John Robinson, the Bronx Condor,
Correct.
the African-American. Do they recognize him at Ethiopia?
There is not much talk of it. I'd heard of it briefly, but there's not much talk of that part of the history of the airline.
But the airline is considered the biggest airline in Africa.
Correct, especially now.
And it's also the airline that has the most comprehensive maintenance program.
Yes.
And flight school. Is that right?
Correct, and continuing to expand even more.
So right now, is it the case that Ethiopia trains mechanics and pilots from other African nations and other nations?
Yes, in recent times, the program has been extended to include, non-Ethiopian, so to speak. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And can you tell us where you've flown with Ethiopia?
Oh, there's so many places. In fact, the Boeing 767 is actually used for not only scheduled flights within the African continent, Europe, Asia, etc. We also do United Nations charters.
I see.
Moving peacekeeping troops around.
To which countries, for instance?
Oh, so many. I mean, Kathmandu, Nepal, India, Beirut, Lebanon. And,
One time you told me you've been flying to Vietnam even.
Correct. We pretty much move troops all over the place.
So you fly the world skies, Hodge?
Pretty much.
Hodge, I don't want breakfast to get cold, so let me just say this. In conclusion, what would you say is the moral of your story for young persons, boys and girls, young men and women, or anyone listening to your very fascinating and inspirational story? What are the value propositions or the value lessons you'd like them to take away from your